Hello guys, today we are going to start creating the portfolio website. We are going to do it with Next.js, and we are going to create two websites. One, it's going to be for the client, that's what the users are going to see, and the other is going to be the admin website where we are going to create or records. If there is any blog, we are going to create there, and then on the admin on the client website we are going to see all of the information there. The tools that we are going to use here are going to be Visual Studio Code, Next.js with Turbo Repo. I like Turbo Repo because we can structure our code and share the domain and data layer from clean architecture through the client and admin website. We are going to use Shadcn and Tailwind CSS for the components and the styles. And for the backend, we are going to create our backend with AWS Lambdas and launch on AWS. And for the DNS configuration, we are going to use Cloudflare, and we are going to deploy the application in Vercel. So let's start coding. For that, you have you need to have Visual Studio Code. So what I'm going to do here is start a new terminal, and let's go to the website of Turbo Repo. When you go to the Turbo Repo, we need to copy this terminal. We are going to use pnpm to install all of the dependencies and start the project and test everything. So we're going to use pnpm. What this command does is start the application, and it's going to create our app. So let's go here and paste the command here. Sorry, but we need to first go to the folder where we want to locate our project. So let me go here to projects website. Sorry, web. Select projects web. Here I'm going to create the project. So we do with this command, it is going to start creating the application, and here it is asking us to with a name that our project is going to be called. So I'm going to create Peter Tech. So let's we're going to use pnpm, and then it starts the project creation. It is going to create two applications. One it's called docs and the other web, and there are some packages that are being shared through all those applications here. So it is already created. We can go here. Let's open it, and let's let me close this one, and this one also, on this. Okay, here we have the project. Let's open this here, and let's close all of this. This is the structure that we have. We have both applications, the web and the docs application, and we have shared a package like the UI. Those are configurations that Turbo Repo needs related to TypeScript, Next.js, the package JSON that those packages shared, and the ESLint also. So we have all of the configurations here. We are not going to go in detail on those two packages, but if there is some doubt that you want to cover, give me a comment on the section and I'll answer you as soon as possible. But here, what we have here on the UI, it really matters to us. Well, here we have the dependencies, the TS configuration, and we have the components. Those components are being used for the web application. If we go here to the app, Next.js structure the code the code of the pages inside the app folder. So if we create more folders here, we can access them putting on the root of the URL the folder name. So for example, here we have this code, and this is what we are going to see if we deploy this project. To run this project, we are going to use this command pnpm run dev. TurboRep is going to start those projects in a new terminal screen, and you can navigate with the keyboard, the arrows up and down, so we can navigate through the both applications. We can see here that it launched in localhost, and this port is being assigned here on the package. Here we have this command that is being run when we executed the project with pnpm run dev. It is coming and executing this command internally and run this project with web in this port. So to access it, we are going to copy the URL. Sorry, this is the web, and this is what we want. We are going to go here, and we are going to let me just This is the project we have. We have two projects, the 3000 and 3001 port. So there are two applications, and both applications has the name. For example, this is the web, and this is the docs application. If there is another application you need, you can add more applications and use different ports, so we can get more applications and share the same UI. This is the step one. Now what we are going to do is install Tailwind CSS with Shadcn. For that, we are going to go to this is Turbo Repo. We are going to use Tailwind CSS. Let me go to the installation process. Yeah, this is not first. Before Shadcn, we need to install and configure Tailwind CSS to create. So we go to Tailwind CSS. The current version is this version 4. It is kind of different between the version 3 to version 4, at least for how we used to call the styles. I think in the version 4 it was more like an internal dependencies handler, but on the version 3 we had to do it manually. If you want some more explanation about that, give me a comment, and I'll create a separate video to talk about only Tailwind CSS. So to install it, we are going to install this on the UI package. So this way we can share the same configuration between the apps. To do that, we are going to stop this and go to the package UI. and here we are going to paste the command we copied from here. So as this said, we need to install this, and let me installation Next.js. We're using Next.js, and this is the colors, and this one also. Okay. What it says, unsupported type. Okay, what is going on here? Let me check. Repo UI, we have the dependencies, but why? Okay, sorry, we are using pm, so let's copy only this part. pm add this one. So here we are adding Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and post CSS libraries. We already have them here. Okay, we just added. I need to charge the computer. Okay guys, let's continue with this. Once we install Tailwind CSS, the next thing we need to do is to install Shadcn. To install Shadcn, we need to add, and this is to create a project with Shadcn. Now we need to add only the components. To add the components, there are two ways to do it. We can add the components we need. For example, if I need the button, I need the card, I need an alert, I need the toast, I can add them manually. But if I need all of the components, I need to only copy add to the add and then select the components on the terminal. We can do it like this, and here we can select each component, and with enter it is going to be they are going to be installed. But in my case, I'm going to install all of the components, so I'm going to press the A keyboard on the Mac. So I'm going to start. Do you need to create a component JSON? Yeah. And there is this issue. We couldn't detect the framework. Okay. This means that we need to configure more about this. So to do it manually, let's go to this URL. I think I can copy like this, because using Command C it's not working. Let's see what it does here. Okay, to install a manual installation, let's install manually here, because I think installing only this it's not enough. We need to install more components, as this class variance authority, which is going to be, and this CLSX, which are the utils to merge styles, class names, and also Tailwind merge the icons and the animate CSS. Let's copy this and paste into our terminal, and let's see what it does. Okay, so we have more classes here. Let's see what else we need to do. We need to config this path inside the tsconfig JSON. So here we are going to put the paths, but why it's okay, I haven't got the copy them. the URL. Okay, the base URL also. Okay, so now we have this. The is a preference. You can use another alias if you want. Okay, here we are going to use the repo alias because it is already configured that way here, so we are going to use the repo. Okay, so let's continue, and then we need to add this style global CSS. So we need to create this inside this src, a new folder with this file. Here we are going to configure all of the Tailwind CSS and also the themes that we are going to use in our application. This is the content of the file, so we are going to copy and paste this here. Okay, so we have Tailwind CSS, Tailwind animate, and those are the colors, the primary, the card, the foreground, secondary, and all of the colors that we are going to be using. Additionally, we need to add these libs, so we are going to create a new folder, and inside this new folder we are going to add this util. These utils, this is going to create this function which is cn. It merges the class names we are going to use inside the components. So with this we already have this, and we need to create this component JSON. So we go here, this says let me create component JSON file in the root of the project, which is the UI. The UI is the project that where we are adding those files, so we need to add at the root level. Sorry. So here we are creating this component JSON, and component JSON is going to have these ones. Okay, here we need to change something like using our path. Repo UI components, repo UI libs, repo UI components UI, repo UI. Sorry, it's only one of these. Okay, this is the style, the TSX, Tailwind CSS. Okay, CSS base colors. Okay, those are configurations related to Tailwind. With this, now what else? So that's it. You can now start adding components to your project. Okay, so it means that we can continue with adding the components. Let's add all of the components here. We press A and let's see what it does. If it adds all of the, yeah, it's working. Okay, let's continue. Those are all of the components that the project added. So if we go here, okay, this is not right. There was something wrong with, yeah, I think we made a mistake here. I made a mistake here. Yeah, let's put the UI here also. Anyway, we already have the components, so we are going to pass all of the data here and remove this folder. This folder is not needed anymore. Let's see if what it says here now. Repo UI and the UI. No. Here we need a component folder called components, and inside components we are going to put the UI. Okay, so we have this, and this is the problem, what it says here. So if I remove this and I add manually, which is adding this part, but I don't want it to be like that. So what I'm doing wrong here, if I remove this, the pre-route is ambiguous, but is required to resolve export mode entry bottom in file user. Okay, and I cannot do it like this, but I have this repo UI component. Let me check here. Okay, we need to add the exports. Yeah, all of the issues are being handled there. The project route is ambiguous. Supplier route compare options. Let's ask the AI to solve this issue. For this we are going to use Gemini, the free version. Why I am having this issue with a turbo repo with Next.js. This is my package. We are going to provide some context. This is my TS config. When you use the AI, you have to provide some context in order to understand what is going on. And this is the component for Tailwind CSS and Shadcn. Let's see. You encounter the problem with ambiguous this should happen because type is ensured of the root. Yeah, I was thinking that this might be the case. We need to add this here. But export, that means we already have an export. It's the same. So why is this? Okay. This is saying that when someone imports something, it should map to. Okay. Yeah, but the base URL I have already added or not? Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. Aliases, okay. Shadcn components are designed to work with modify TS config root dir. Okay, let me check if adding the root dir it's going to solve the problem here. Okay, whether this helps. TS config. I don't like the solution that it is giving me, because I need to add some alias to all of the projects. Aliases, okay, let's go here then. I already have those aliases. Chart, I have this, so let's but still have the same issue, because I add this root there, but include CSS. If I put this here, okay, incorrect, mention the role, double check, routine, ensure. Okay, exports. But this it's not solving this, isn't it? Come on, this one. I don't want to do it. This is what I don't want to do it. npm install. This package. So if I go here, if you have any test files in other non-source property, I don't have test. Based on the package tsconfig. No, this is not going to work. I'm going to copy from other project that I have built, because I config it in a better way. Here we have the app, the package, the UI, the tsconfig, and this is what I wanted. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go to the other project here, and I'm going to paste like this. I'm going to paste on, and this is going to be called repo. Okay, once it is done, we can solve. Yeah, this was the issue. I knew it wasn't big of a deal, but this what I'm saying here is telling that I am using this alias to access the whole project. We config this alias here, so all inside the repo we need to use this structure to access. So here I'm saying the same. I'm saying that to access this, it means that everything is going to be inside this folder src. So with that in mind, we already have Shadcn configured correctly. What is next? So next, let's test this functionality, and we are going to remove all of this code. Image dark and okay. We're going to remove and use the components we added. First, let me remove the components that we had first added, but automatically when we created the project. So let's remove. Sorry, rename now. Remove them. Move to delete. Move to trash. Okay. So let's remove all of these pennies. Here we are going to use a button. Let's use a button. As you can see here, we are accessing to the buttons using the repo UI components UI button path. And here we're going to be hello, click me. It's kind of another type of hello world. Let's see what we got. So let's run again the project. To run, you have to be on the root project level, and here we are going to execute pnp and root dev. With this, we already launched it, so we are accessing this and this 300, and here we have an error. Why is this an error? Let's see what we got here. Why we are having this error here? Model not can resolve UI lib. Why it's this? Then we close all of them. We have lib util CSN, and we don't have any issues related to, and we can access. Why? There is another issue. This means we have this other issue, but we can use the button. Why is that? This. Okay, let me check again what is going on here. So we have the path. Let's remove this and see, maybe this is the problem, because on my other project I haven't this one. Let's stop with Ctrl+C. You can stop the execution and run it again. And we have, but still some issue. Okay, this is not the problem. Okay guys, let's check the project that it works. I have this. Let's copy the same. Okay, this project, so I can run it, and let me check if I have the exports like this. Yeah, these exports are not. Now I know the problem. it means like we are accessing to all of the tsx files, but we have ts files, TypeScript files, not the comments like tsx. This is the problem. I think we need to let the system know that we are using both files, TypeScript normal files and TypeScript that has the UI, which are the tsx files. So let's change this configuration and add this part like this. So we are going to add this tree. I'm going to copy, but manually for you to understand. Okay, guys. So let's remove this, and here we are going to put like when this access the libs and everything that is inside, and the root is here, CRS, yeah, CRS lib, each file with TS configuration. With this we can keep the problem here. Yeah, but we cannot access the tsx files now. So to do that, we are going to, I'm sorry, let's close this. We are going to add more cases scenarios. So to access the components and everything that is inside, which are being referring to the components itself, components and everything inside, but this case are tsx files. So with here we solve this issue, but also we have other folders like the hooks, for example, the hooks, but there I think already we have the click. But and let's finish this part first. So everything that wants to access to the hooks and everything inside the hooks are tsconf files. So this is going to be the route that contains the code, the source code. SRS, src and hooks and these ts files, and also the styles. For the styles there is going to be a particular case. We cannot add like this for the CS config. We need to add the file directly. So here I'm saying like when someone access to this root, styles / global CSS, this is the root of the file inside this package, this folder. CSS styles global CSS, and this one is going to be, we are going to add it to the layout. Here we are using these styles, but these are not the styles we are going to use anymore. We are going to use the Tailwind CSS. So we are going to replace this. We are going to import, and we are going to import using repo UI styles global CSS. Okay, and now it says we cannot resolve this issue. Why is that? Let's go and see what is going on. Global CSS, let's rename this and copy directly, okay? Because maybe I haven't, yeah, it's okay. Styles CRS styles CSS. Okay, but why I'm not accessing UI styles global CSS? Let's pause this and rerun it again. Let's see. Okay, same issue. Same issue here. Why is that? Let me check the dependency on the other project. Okay. I see the mistake here. The mistake is that we don't need to use this. Let me again tweak this. Yeah, now I can access. It's really strange, right? I know. So we already have the button, but this is not Shadcn style. What I mean by that, we need to see something like this. For example, this is the bottom. Where is it? And the bottom, where is the bottom? Okay, here it is. This is the style. We need to see something like this. So let's solve this issue. This is because I don't know why, guys, but this has to be solved maybe in another version, but I think we need to add a source to this style, meaning that we are telling Tailwind CSS, hey Tailwind CSS, we are going to use your styles inside those files, something like that. And I think they have to solve this issue later, but this is what we need to do. And to do that, after a lot of research and all of that, we need to add this line here, which is telling we are going to use inside some road that has this path and this path with files with TS and TSX. So after we do this, we're going to go and let's reload, but still not working. Why is that? Let me copy also this one, okay? It's still not working, and this is really strange. Okay, let me check again. Maybe I think I need to, yeah, I need to rerun the project, but I know they solved the issue. But why it's not solving the problem now? Okay, I have this added, and when I click this here, I can go. I cannot go. Okay, but why? Let me check the other project. Just a minute. How and layout. I can go there later. Tailwind CSS. I have this file. I have not this. If I have or not this file inside this, yeah. We need this file. Maybe we haven't understood. We need this file. This is configuring also the project. Yeah, that was the issue. We need to create this file also for the Tailwind CSS installation. Post CSS config ms and saying that, hey, this is the plugin we are using, okay? Tailwind CSS. And to clean a little bit the project, let's remove the additional classes that we added and are not necessary. Yeah, it is working now. This is the style that we are looking for. This is for the primary buttons. Here we have this. If we are using the same theme that we Shadcn has. This, for example, is a secondary button. Let's see the order code. It's a button only. But why this is the secondary button, variant secondary. Let's test the secondary button. Okay guys, let's see here, let's say a variant. This is secondary button, and we are going to see it changed its style. Yeah, now with everything configured, I'm going to publish this to a repo where you can see the project later, and when you can clone this repo and review all of the code that I already implemented. So let's start with it. Let's add a commit. Let's add all of the files. Let me check if there is nothing. This one I don't want it to. Yeah, this one I don't want this to be committed, because I think this part is being generated from this file. So I'm going to add this to the git ignore. Yeah, all of the files. Status it add its status. But let me remove git restore stage. Oh, I forgot the space here. Let's see. I have added. Now let me put this maybe like this. Yeah, but pm text. Yeah, this might be okay. But I'm doing here right here. It's okay. Okay, git commit starting the portfolio website, adding Shadcn, Tailwind CSS, and what else that we did here in this part. And now we are going to create a repo. To create a repo, I am creating this organization where I'm going to put all of the information. So here we are creating the repo. Peter text. This project is to create a portfolio website for everybody, everybody. It is going to be public. That's it. Let's create a repository. We're going to add to the repository like this. Okay, we're going to go here, copy this and paste it, and we can push again main. This is asking me for security, but in your cases it is not going to be asked anything. voila, you already have the repo available. And here we are going to start publishing all of the things that we are going to do. Now to continue, I'm going to create another branch because I want to merge the code and simulate something like that. I like to do that. To create a new branch, I have this nomenclature or whatever, this kind of how I name my branches. Because I used to work in a lot of projects with a lot of people, and the way I found that interesting is like each developer groups all of the commits and work they done by creating like this. For example, there my username and what I'm doing. In this case, I'm going to do the client website like this. So I have my branch. So if there are devs, there are architects or something like that, we can organize something like that. What is this user doing? So if I go here in Git, I'm going to see all of the branches I have and all of the work I done. But anyway, let's continue with this. Now let me explain what we are going to do related to the project. And to the project we are going to, let me close this. Yeah, this is the project we are going to do. It's simple, really simple, but this displays the portfolio the way I think it's nice for all of us as developers. It has a hero section that we can use to let the people know us. Like, I am a full stack developer, I am an Android developer, I'm an iOS developer, I am a front-end developer, a web developer. I build a lot of applications, a little bit about myself, and see what I do. If this is going to be scroll to in this section we are going to see about myself. I am a developer with over 8 years of experience working with Android, iOS, backend, frontend, and all of that. I have experience with something like that you can do, and you can add those buttons to your GitHub and to download your CV. This is the experience you have. Like, I have worked with this, I'm working currently here, and these are the tools that I have, and all of this information. And it's like a timeline that you can add more. And for this we are going to create the admin website where we are going to add more of this in the future while you are increasing your experience. And here we are going to put the projects we have worked or developed to showcase the recruiters what projects you have experience with. For example, in the template it says an e-commerce, AI tax manager, and you can display all of that information. And we are going to add a new another feature which is not here, but it's going to be the blog section. I think the blog section, and we can add also a contact page where we are going to put a form for the users to contact us, recruiting some people that you want they to contact you. So we are going to add those two other pages. And that's it for this part. Let's build this website. So here we can see that it has a menu where we are going to add our logo. And those are like those two are basically it's a landing page. This is a landing page where we can navigate through the menu, but it only changing the idea of each section. So let's do the same. All of this is Shadcn, so we can copy the styles with Tailwind CSS, and we are going to have the same structure and the same code. How we are going to do that? This way. To do that, we are going to create this structure, okay? But first, we are going to use clean architecture. That's why we are using Turbo Repo. For that, I'm going to create two layers. Let me search for clean architecture here. What clean architecture? I think this one. What we can see here, this is from Robert C. Martin, Uncle Bob. What we have here, that we have the entities that are the enterprise business rules, meaning that here we have all of the entities we need for our website. I think it's simple. It's a simple website, but we are going to structure the way you can structure bigger projects and escalate them, because I want to use this portfolio to also add more pages in the future and more features. Maybe there is a course that I'm going to launch, so I plan to use this same website. I'm going to create videos about how I'm doing, so everything is going to be in that way. So I plan in that the project is going to be growing. I am using this structure from the beginning. Clean architecture, I have been working with that for over 8 years for Android. I'm an Android developer. I'm learning this year about webs and all of that, backend, and also I have launched some of them, but my main skills are related to mobile development, and there I have been working with clean architecture the way I'm going to structure this code right now on this website. So here we have the entities, which are all of the entities that the business has related to the website. Inside of it, we have the use cases that are the business rules. I know for us as a developers, a front-end developers, all of the front-end developers, they only print the logic. There is not much business logic on the front end, because the real business logic is being handled on the back end, and I think it's more secure to do that there. But in some cases we have business logic on the use case, so we use those use cases to implement all of the business logics there. And over there we have the presenters, the gateway controllers, and all of them. This is another layer that, if we read what each layer has here, for example, this is the interface, right? Yeah. For what is the interface? The software is in this layer is a set of adapters that converts data forms from the format most convenient for the user's case and entity. So data is converted into this layer. Some of the forms for entities and use case into the form most convenient for whatever persistent framework is being used. The database no code in Word of this circle should know anything all about the database. Then all the SQL. Those are adapters, like the name it does. Adapters that are going to be adapt the or data source to or presentation and all of that information. So we have those controllers and adapters, and then we have the externals that are the database, interfaces, the UI, the web, and all of that. Normally we have the UI here on the external, and we use adapters to access to or use cases, and those use cases also use those adapters to access for our database. So the communication is from outside to the center, never from the inside to the outside. For that to communicate, for example, the use case, we are going to create a repository, but we need to get the information here that is being given from a database. So for that we use this structure, like an interface adapter to get that information. We are going to use this. We are going to see this in a minute. So let's create our domain layer, which is going to have this use case layer and the entities, and we are going to create the data layer that are going to be used something between those two layers to adapt the information. So in practice, what we have here is we are going to create the core domain layer, and we are going to create the core data layer. Okay, and we are going to go to those folders, package, cdm, core domain. First, let's define the core domain. Let's start the project using pnpm. So we start with this command pnpm init. What it does, it creates this package JSON where we can add some dependencies, but this is pure TypeScript, so we are not going to need any layers. But we are going to change here is use the same structure we've been using for the UI. On the UI we have this alias that represents the whole UI package, and we are going to do the same, repo core domain. Let's add that description. Here we have the business logic and the entities. Okay. Inside this, we are going to create also the CSS folder, and here we are going to create this structure: entities, repositories, and the use cases. For the entities, let's review again what entities we need here. So here first we need to understand what is this page about. So we have here that we have the banner. If the banner is going to be changed from the admin website, so we need an entity to map this feature. Then we have about myself, this information. I think this information also needs to be changed, because currently I have over 5 years of experience, but what about next year? Next year I'm going to have 6 years, and so on and so on, and maybe I know another skill. I know how to use the AI, or I create some tools, or now I have a company, something like that. So this needs to be changed. The GitHub repository, maybe it's not to be changed, but the CV it's always being updated, so we need to change this also. So here we have two entities, a banner for this, and personal information or user, something like that. We can call this here, and a journey. Of course, our journey is going to be changed. We have we have this this structure, for example, a date, we need to maybe a new skill. What about if I am working on this senior full stack developer, up to now I know these skills, but in 2 months I learn new one, I want to update this on my portfolio without any new release. Meaning by that, I can create a static website and I can create a dynamic website. What is the difference between those two? The main difference is that with a static website, each time a new data or new info it's need to be added to the website, we need to change the HTML code. For example, here now I have click me, and now only I need to tell click me. This works locally, but I need to build, package all of this project and deploy it to Vercel. We are going to use Vercel. Deploy to Vercel the portfolio, and we need to deploy it each time a new update is being committed. But with a dynamic, that's not necessary. We only update the data on our admin website, which is going to be save this new update on Mongo, and from that we can get the information, and we already have the data here updated without any new deployed. We only then are going to be deployed when we add a new feature to the website, but in this case we are going to add this information. So guys, let's define the first entity, the banner entity, and let's add the banner entity. To do that, we are going to go here and we are going to create a new banner TS entity. This is going to be an interface. Why an interface and not a class? What is the difference? I am using an interface because I only defining the properties that I need. I'm not using a class because it needs more structure and more code to only create a banner. And as a front-end developers, we don't need we are not going to do some business logic inside the banner. But if we do a business logic, this logic that clean architecture enterprise business rules. So we don't have more business rule on the entity, so we only can use an interface. What we need here? Well, we need a title. Yeah, we need a title. We need a headline, a description, and a CTA button. Okay, let's go here. Define a title, which is a string, description, which is a string also, but before the description we have a headline, which is a string, and we have a CTA text, which is the bottom text, and we have let's add the icon also, because maybe I don't want this now I want this icon, but what about contact me, or change this action to be to the contact page, or see my new application or something like that. I want it to be to the detail of this project, so I'm going to make it dynamic also. So CTA URL to where I'm going to go, a CTA icon, which is going to be a string. For this case, we are going to do something to load this. later. And voila, we have the banner. And with this we can now move to the next one, and I'm going to create what I can call about to this one. Let's ask the AI to create us a name for this part. I don't want to call it like user owner, maybe owner. I can create a class called owner, but let's use the AI for that. Hello, I have a problem naming a class an entity. What I need to save here is information about myself. This project I am building is a portfolio of myself, and I am talking about my experience, and there is this section where I plan to use the entity that talks about myself. I am attaching a screenshot of the component. When I want better results with the AI, I have to give all of the context. Could you provide me with some names for the entity? About me information. Profile. Simple as that. Profile, guys. That was the name. Excellent name. Yeah, profile. TSX. Inside the profile. Okay, let's go here. Inside the profile, I have let's define also here interface profile. Inside the profile, I have this. Let's add an ID also here, because I want the ID to update on the admin. I need an ID also here, which is a string, and I need a title for this. So I want to call also headline, which is a string, a description, which is a string, GitHub URL, which is a string also, CV URL, which is a string also, and a picture or photo, I don't know how you call it, a string. Okay, we have this section covered, and now we have this tech experience. So let's call this experience or jobs, or how can I call this? Jobs. Now I want to put on not only what are the problems here I am facing. I want to put not only the experience I have for companies, but for personal purpose. For example, this portfolio I'm creating, it's going to be part of my experience, but it doesn't have a company name. In my case, I can create with my personal one, but yeah, personal. I can create personal. This has a title of the company, or yeah, company. Let's create experience entity. Export interface experience entity, experience, which has an ID, of course, an ID, and this has a company, which is going to save this information, title or role title, which is like this, start date, which is a date, it's going to be needed, end date, which is going to be nullable. Okay, because when this is nullable, that means we are currently working on that. So when it's null, we are going to show this present. And we have I think this is not enough to show our experience, but let's add what this template requires. But if we want to display the whole experience, we need more information than only a description. But here we're going to use a description, which is a string, and we're going to use a list of skills. Let's add the skills, or skills, which is a list of string. Okay guys, so we have on skills. Let's see if there is anything different. No, there is no difference. With this we can create this portfolio. And now we have projects. We have another entity which is going to be project. Use singular to name your entities. Do not use plural, because for plural we have lists. If you name an entity like projects, what are you going to name? A list of projects, like a double plural you are using it. That is why there is a rule that we must name our classes or entities in singular. Okay, now we have this one, export. Why I'm using export? Because I want to access to this entity outside this module. So I'm using export to access from the web, from the UI. Maybe I'm going to create a custom component to only display this. I want to use it. So export interface and project. What the project has here is an image, an ID, don't forget the ID, an image. This project needs a title, a name. This is a name of the project. A full feature e-commerce panel with real-time inventory. A description. Let's update later this, and also technologies. which is a list of string. Those terminologies are going to be a list of tools. And now I have these two buttons, live demo and view code. Okay, here I have a problem. What about if I've created a project that is internally and I don't have the code? Meaning, for example, if I work with this for this digital innovation company and I was a full stack developer, I created a website. I have the link, I can go to the website, but the code is impossible because if it is not public, it's going to be inside the company repository. So here it's up to what I have for this project, right? So let's solve this issue like allowing nullables. But what else we can get about this? If it is an application, I can go to Play Store and see the application. Yeah, I can go there. If it is a personal project, I can also share the repository if it is public, but there are some personal projects that are private also. So let's keep both links nullable, and we are going to display or not the button depending of what we got. So here link demo URL string, which is nullable, and sorry, this is string, and repo URL, which is going to be nullable also. With this we solve this part, and that's it, guys. I think we already got what we need. Once we define this entity repository and all of that, we are going to create the repositories. Okay, the repositories, the way I found to use the same package for web and for the admin, because we are going to create an admin website also. Let's create already here, add a new copy. I use copy the project and paste, and we are going to call admin. This is going to be admin, and we are going to use the port 3003. Okay, so we have two projects, the admin and the web. The web is going to be the one that each client is going to be seeing, but the admin, for this we are going to authenticate the users to access to the admin, because if we don't do that, everyone that has access to the admin can update our portfolio, and we don't want that to happen. So that is why we are going to create two websites, and one is going to be with an authentication. We are going to use OAuth tokens with cookies to authenticate our application. I am not an expert on webs. I am just learning like you guys, but I'm sharing the knowledge I have up to now how to create a website. I already launched a couple of websites. I'm working on one, but I think the way I'm structuring is like it's working. I already tested and it's working really fine. So guys, here what we need to do is create two folders inside the repository. One is going to be for the client and one is going to be for the admin. Inside the admin, we are going to create a repository for each entity we added. For example, I have added the banner. I'm going to create the banner repository. What I'm going to put here is I am adding the banner, so it's an export interface banner repository. Let me change like this, okay? Because I think naming this is going to help me to understand later that this is the admin repository. What I am going to do with an admin repository, I'm going to do the whole CRUD for create, delete, update, and fetch the admins, or get the admins, the banner, sorry. So let's start with fetch. Fetch, what I'm going to fetch? A promise of banners, which is going to be a list. There is an issue here. Why I don't like this way? Because if there is an error, I have to create a try catch to get all of the if there was an error on the API when we consume the API, if there is an error, so I need to catch it on the try catch. That is why I like to create a new entity, result state yes, and we are going to export a type which is result state, and this type is we are going to have type success. Let's define here and data. I'm not sure if this is like this. Okay, I think it's not. It's like this only. Yeah. Sorry. sorry. So we are using the success, but also we are going to define another type, which is when there is an error. So type error, and for errors we are going to return the message instead of data, and this is going to be an string. So we have two types. Now we can use this here like this. Okay, state, and we can get the data. So each time we are going to return a promise, but the promise has a success as an error. If you are an Android developer and you are learning TypeScript or web, there is an Android one, a CL class. So this is similar to a CL class. I don't know if in Java it's also a CL class, but in Kotlin there is a CL class, and you can do the same and use when or if and else to get the data depending on the result. So here we are create what we are creating, banner, which is a banner, and we are going to return a promise of result state here one. Since we are creating a banner, we don't have the ID that was generated on the backend and saved on Mongo. So we need that ID. We need the banner in return, but with that value updated. And for the update, same, we need the banner updated from the backend. And for the delete, we are sending only the ID, which is a string, and we are returning a string. This is the admin banner. We have the whole group. But what about the client? The client is, we are only need in banner client repository. We are using a solid principle here, which is the interface segregation, the I of the solid principle. What does mean? We are creating separate interfaces to avoid having unimplemented methods on the class where we are implemented those interfaces. For example, if I need the fetch banner from on the client, but what about the others? I don't need those for the client. I only need the fetch. So I'm creating a segregation. I am segregating those interfaces to only add this functionality. So export interface banner client repository, and here we are going to need a list of banners. Let's get a list, okay? And we are going to return a promise result state, and result state is going to receive a banner which is a list, and that's it. This is the only method we need for the banners related to admin and client. And now let's create the experience. Experience admin repository. I'm going to go faster here. Export interface experience repository, which we have fetch. I'm going to copy from this because I need the same methods, but in this case for the result state I'm doing the same, but in this case experience, I'm creating this here, sorry, this here, experience, and here, okay. And the same, this experience, we need a list of experience. Experience client repository, yes. Export experience client repository. Sorry, here is an interface, and we need the list of it. Okay, we need only the list of it. Result state, and we get this one. Okay, we already have it. Profile we need. We are not going to need a list. Let's copy and paste this. I'm going to rename this profile repository. Fetch, this is not going to be a list, this is going to be only one, a profile, and profile, okay, and we are creating the profile, and this is profile admin repository. I'm creating a profile, sorry, rename here, and I'm creating the profile, yes, but for the client and this export interface, this is a client, and let's copy from here this part. Okay, we already have this, and we only need a profile, which is one. There is no list of profiles, and we need the same for projects. Let's copy and paste this, and we need project admin repository, which is going to be the same here, but in this case is projects, and this in here there is a list. Okay, this is project, and this is project also. We have this, and we are going to create for the client, which is only the list of it. Export interface project client repository, which we have this. Okay, project rename here. Okay, let's review. We have the banner admin, the experience admin, the profile admin, the project admin, the banner experience. Okay, we have, I think, everything covered related to the project. Yeah, I already have this. Okay, guys, let's continue with the use cases. Okay, the use cases. Here we are going to add the banner. For each entity we are going to add also the use cases, the banner, the experience, and profile, and also project. Okay, the banners, we have client, and we have admin, and we are going to copy and paste this inside each one of these. Okay, I know clean architecture has a lot of classes, maybe already, but I think I promise you they are worth it. When you are coding something, always think in the future, not in the present. So what we have for the banner as a use case? As a use case, I have create banner use case. Yes. This is a class, export class, create banner use case, which is we are going to inject the repository here. Okay, constructor private repository, and here we are injecting the repository, which is going to be admin banner repository, banner admin repository. Why I cannot access to this? Let me check the repository. Banner admin repository. It's the same name, right? Yeah. So I'm using this same name. Okay. Issue. Import. But come on. There it is. So, and we are going to use the execute method, which is we are going to receive a banner, return a promise, result state, banner, and we are going to return from the repository.create banner. Okay guys, why we are injecting here the repository and not only in this instantiate here? There is a principle also on the solid. The solid are the basis, the rules, the things that you need to think when you are building software. So we just saw the interface segregation, but here we are applying another principle. First, we are creating a single class to only create a banner, which is the single responsibility. We are creating, injecting the interface that we segregate with interface segregation. And we are injecting to the dependency inversion. So we do not need to initialize directly the repository here, because we are breaking, we are going to break the dependency inversion of the solid. So this way we are not breaking it. Let's continue with the update banner. Okay, and also we have the delete. Oh, sorry, I needed to remove the copy first. Okay, let's copy this also, rename, copy, and rename here. Okay, we are updating. The update and create has the same, but here there is an ID, there is a string, and we are requiring a string, delete ID, and we remove this unnecessary reference. Okay guys, we have this, but we need to get the fetch also. Fetch banners, so this that we are fetching. Here we are renaming this, we don't need this, and we need a list here. Fetch, that's it. This is the whole CRUD for the banners, but we need this fetch also on the client. But the difference here is going to be that if banner client repository, client and client. Okay, this is the only difference. Okay guys, so we have this already created, so we need to copy and do the same for experience. I'm going to rename this to experience, and rename, okay, experience, rename to experience, okay. We have created the experience here, and we need to change this to experience. Let's see, let's see the banner and change to experience. Okay, experience. Okay, experience admin repository, but why is not? Okay, there is an error here. Admin. Create experience, and experience with a lowercase. Okay guys, we have this on delete banner for experience. Okay, we already got it. Here also fetch experience fetch Okay, and here experience with lowercase, experience lowercase. Okay, we got it. And now we need a fetch experience for the client. But in this case we are getting from the client, and we are not getting the admin, we are getting the client repository, client repository, client repository. That's it, guys. Repository and banner done. We can check it. And now we need to do the same, but in this case for the profile. Let's rename again. Profile. Sorry guys, this part is like we need to do it anyway. If there is, I think it's better for you because you can follow me. If there is an error, we are going to solve here, like we did with the Tailwind CSS. I'm not putting any videos, so there might be some issues or something I said, so the video is going to have it. So here we are changing this for profile. Okay, create profile with p lowercase, and that's it. Here the same. Okay, we have it. And here the same. There is no list, there is only one. And profile, okay. And same here, lowercase. Oh, sorry. Why lowercase for the variables? Because we don't want to confuse them with the classes. The classes are always must start with I forgot how capitalized letter. Yeah, with a capitalized letter. Okay, we have banners here, but we want a profile, and profile only needs one this part, but here it's the client. Yeah, profile. Fetch profiles, no, profile, only profile. Rename profile use case. Done, the profile is already done. And now we need to create this and paste here for projects. Instead of profile, we are going to do project. Okay, project. We create a project, name, project use case. We delete a project. We are going to delete a project. Okay, we are going to fetch a projects, and this is not single, this is a list, and we already have it. And we are updating a project with lowercase. This fetch projects we need to change here like this, and change this with the update projects, not the profile, like this. Okay, that's it. And we need from the client fetch profile use cases, but this is not a profile, this is a project. Fetch projects, this is plural here, projects. This is a list, sorry. Okay, this is done. Now what else do we need? I think we already have the whole core domain layer implemented. So since we already have it, we need to commit we don't know what's going to happen if this computer is going to burn out. We need to save the code first. And then it can happen everything after that, but we need to save the code first. Okay, guys, what we have here, we are going to only comment this part. Okay, git status. Okay, everything inside the comment, the packages. Okay, and git add git commit, create the entities and the entities interfaces for the repository and the use cases for client and admin websites. Okay, git push origin, and I'm going to push to this branch. Okay, that's it. Now what is left? We already have the core domain. Now we need to create the core data. Check out. No, sorry. This is going to be here. So the core data pm init. Okay, and we need to add the folder also, and here we are going to use repo core data. Here we are going to separate in two sections, client and admin. Sorry, the admin has to be inside the SM. Okay, that way. For the admin, we have in banner repository, which is going to be like this. Export class banner repository. I'm going to recall this admin, okay, because when we are going to use this, admin, we are going to need to know which repository we are initiating. So this is going to implement our repository inside our core domain. But for that we need to add here the dependencies, okay? Dependencies. We are going to add the repo core domain dependencies, which is going to be on the workspace like this. pm install. Okay, now we can access to the repositories on the core domain. Implement banner admin repository, but here we have an issue. I don't like this row to be like this is inside this. We need to fix this issue. I don't like this one. Yeah, let's use alias for this, okay, guys? So to create alias, this is going to update the core domain also, but anyway, let's create alias here. Okay, exports, we are going to define which are going we can export. So to access to or route entities and everything that is inside, we need to go to entities /ts. Okay, let's test this. If we go here and we go to the admin and we change this to repo core domain, yeah, now we can access to the entities. But let's do something that is going to change everything. Okay, to this one. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do it manually. Okay, this is okay. The use cases are not working. Why? Because we have this. Because the use case needed a deeper, but let's change it. If this is like this, so only use this one. 34 places. Okay, we solved it. Okay, we solved the entities, but we need to do the same for the repositories. Let's copy this, paste here, repositories, and this is going to be inside the repositories. And now, which one access to repositories? Well, the use cases, and the use cases use domain. Remove this, and that's it. It is working. And let's do the same, but in this case, let's change the whole route here to the repo core domain. Repo core domain repositories. I want to make sure the name is okay. Yeah, replace. Okay, we have replaced everything. Let's test, put a test on the client also. Yeah, with this part done, we need to add on also to the use case. We are not going to use right now, but when we are going to call from the apps, we are going to need to access to the use cases, and that's it. Okay, so what this is going to change? Here we can do the same. We can do something like repo core. Okay, that's it. Core domain. We remove the SRS. Okay, that way we can do this. Repo core domain. We remove this. Repo core domain, we remove this. Okay, so here we have the admin CRUD to fetch, create, update, and delete. Here we are going to implement the API call. We are going to call our lambdas here, and let me add the banner client repository. Yes, export class banner client repository. This is how we are going to implement a banner client repository, which is going to implement this whole. Okay guys, we have here we are going to fetch the data for the for the um, for the client, and here we are going to fetch the data for the admin, but for the admin we need to get the cookies. So here we are going to require the cookies, private cookies, which we are going to, and this is a string, which we are going to need to access to our backend. Why this way? Maybe there are some experts on this matter, but I had a lot of issues on my previous project related to front end, because for the authentication I have used HTTP cookies. When I consume the backend, I get those cookies, I put inside the browse, but Next.js has client components and server components. So the browse send those cookies directly to the backend, but when we consume an API from the server components, the origin and the cookies are not being sent automatically. So that way I am asking for the cookies here, and from here I'm sending it manually to the backend. When we are going to go there, I'm going to explain in detail what is going on, simulating both cases. One using the one is going to be using the configuration related to the client, which doesn't require cookies. Another for the admin, which has the cookies. But we are going to send the cookies, and we are not going to send the cookies to see what is going on and why I'm doing this way, and it works. But if there is any developer that is expert, maybe there is another way to do that. I know this way it works, and I think I'm sharing this knowledge with you guys. So guys, this is for today. I'm going to add this comment, this let's finish adding the other repositories, okay? Because I need to pause here the video, publish this video, and continue later with the whole implementation. In the future we are going to create the design, but here we need, the repositories, we need experience admin repository, which is this export class, implement, this is going to be implement the experience admin repository. Nice, I like this way more than the other URL. Okay, here we need the cookies, constructor, private cookies, this is on a string, and this is like this. And for this I also experience client repository, yes, export class experience, and this is not the admin, this is the client, which implements a experience client repository, which we have this class, and this doesn't require cookies. And we need another to profile admin repository, export class profile admin repository, which implements a profile admin repository, and this requires those one, and we need to add the cookies, private cookies, which is a string, and that way. And we need also to decline a profile client repository, which is this, an export class a profile client repository, which is this. And we are going to implement the eProfile client repository that only has this method. And last, we need the project. So project admin repository, yes, export class project admin repository, which implements a project admin repository. We have this part, okay, and we need to add also the project admin client repository, yes, export class project admin repository implements project client repository. Okay guys, we have this. Let me check if I added the cookies. No, let's copy from here the cookies here and paste this here. So guys, let's add the exports here, okay, because I want to keep it like the other part. So if we add the admin, we are referring to SRS admin /ts, and for client, okay guys, this is the layer that is going to contain the APIs consume logic, yeah. Let's commit this part with status. I know I updated, sorry, but I am not in the correct way. Git status, let's add the core data, git add core data, and git add also core domain because we updated the reference. Git status, we have a lot of code here. Git push, git commit -m, add the repositories implementation on the core data layer. Also add aliases to get access to there is an extra C here, to the entities, to the classes, inner classes on core domain and core data. Okay guys, git push origin, and this is going to be here. That's it. We already have the code published. Well guys, that's it for today. Let's finish this or keep going in another video, but for today it is enough for myself. I am going to continue creating the other parts. We need to add the logic here to the web. We need to create the design, the pages, and also we need to create the dashboard for the admin page. And there is also, we need to create the backend. We need to create some lambdas. The way I'm creating the lambdas is like this also, creating with clean architecture. It's a little bit different because I am not using TypeScript on the backend. I'm going to explain later why I'm not using TypeScript. Even though there is a structure, there is we can create interfaces and all of that, but Lambdas, particularly AWS, doesn't support TypeScript when we deploy those. They support only JavaScript, and when the code built in TypeScript is launched to the Lambda, there is a lot of huge code that I don't want. I don't like that. I like to see on my Lambda when I deploy what is the code that this function is doing. So that is the way I am using JavaScript. But I am structuring the same. I am using use cases. I am using repositories and to get access to the Mongo. And the way I do, maybe there is a better way. I am learning things like you guys, but I am sharing this knowledge with you. I hope you can learn something about those videos. And subscribe to the channel. I'm going to start creating this project, finish this project, creating more projects, maybe some Android apps. I am experienced about that. But subscribe to the bottom. If there is any doubts about what we just done, let me a comment. I'll answer you as soon as possible with a solution, or if you face some issues that didn't appear on this video, give me a comment and I'll answer every doubt, and we can create. I can create a video separate for only explaining those issues. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to publish in the next part of this project soon, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. See you.